Alright guys, thank you for clicking the video. In this discussion, I will be explaining to a Muslim who's arguing to me that I would like to live under Sharia law. I will be giving him the reasons that I do not want to live under Sharia law, also conveying some reasons why atheists would also not want to live under Sharia law. So enjoy the video.
We don't have any now because they've just been destroyed and dismantled in the majority of Muslim countries of third world. But in the idealistic Sharia law running Islamic country, similar to the ones in the Golden Age, like the Ottoman Empire, then irrelevant of your Abrahamic faith, you'll be able to live in your own. If anything, I think they would have more autonomy living in an Islamic society than they would living in a secular atheist society, honestly. So there's
Is
more
that a
freedom there.
yes?
Yes, there's more freedom there.
Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, 100%. I haven't thought about it in a while, but having conversations before about it, 1,000%. Like, there's Christians here, like James. If you lived in an idealistic Sharia ruling society in Islamic world, then rather than you guys having to conform to a constitution or secular rulings whilst presenting as a Christian, you'll be able to actually live under the church's rulings, and similar to
But
atheists as well.
that does have its limitations in a Sharia country. Like, for example, if I try to convert a Muslim or share the gospel with them, I could be criminally charged. Or
Yeah,
if
100%,
I
100%.
or if I'm asked which religion is the superior religion, and I tell you that it's Christianity because it's what I believe, I could be arrested.
Yeah.
If I criticize Muhammad, not like just insulting, but if I say Muhammad's not a prophet, or if I say Muhammad was wrong or made a mistake, that could get me arrested and much worse in an Islamic country.
Yeah, 100%, and that's just consistency of human societies, right? I think when I
Well,
was
well,
younger,
the
let
thing
me
is
let me
that,
elaborate though. Go ahead, go ahead.
well, I'll just make this last real quick point, and then I'll let you respond because I know I did give you a lot there. But so the thing that I'm seeing is here in the West is that all the groups get the autonomy, and no one group is supposed to have one over the other. And I see you as being worried that in the West, liberalism is getting to the point where you believe they will have
New
that.
religion, yeah.
But the thing is that they're also looking at your country and they're saying, hey, in this area, if I leave Islam, I can be executed. And so they're thinking that your views is more extreme.
Yeah, and I totally disagree. And this is, we won't be able to hash this out properly, like in this room, because it's very deep and long-winded. And for you to really understand the reasons why have those thoughts, then it'll be like an hour conversation. But simply put, everyone has fundamental principles and ideologies within a society, right? When I was younger and we spoke about religion, I didn't like to equate Islam and the ideologies of the West, because one's a god in my faith and another one is something they ought to believe to be objectively true and what's good and what's right within their own principles, right? And I was like, okay, so how does that make sense if someone comes out and says Islam's wrong? Why should they get thrown in jail? And after growing up and living as more of an adult, it's the exact same thing in the secular society. But rather than conforming to a God being something that you can't denounce, it's their moral views, right? So yes, you can't go in an Islamic country and say, put the Prophet Muhammad is a serial killer and we should denounce him. But at the same time, in England, for example, you can't do that with the Queen. Like the fuck, it's just like there's no, you can't do that from multiple European countries with the president. So people do not want to understand that maybe Christianity is different to Islam, where we have a unification of quote unquote church and state, right? But our religious leaders are viewed as being parts of the government as well. So I can't go into the UK and look at the prime minister and say, screw him, I don't believe in him. You're not allowed to do that. In the same way with the Sharia law and Islamic countries, if we had a guy called Ibn something and you come out and say, screw him, that's blasphemy in a sense of going against the rulings of the country. And we have that everywhere. I'm not in England. You're not even allowed to bend a coin. You get thrown in jail for that. It's like the same thing. You're not even allowed to denounce the Queen in any sense, or you get thrown in jail. You can't
So
cut pieces of money up.
that's probably the distinction and the issue that like we would have in this is that because Islam is a governmental system
Yeah.
and Christianity isn't designed to be a governmental system, means that if you look at Christianity, there's more things built into Christianity about living in communities with those who disagree with us. Like, we would only say that certain church things are only applicable to Christians, but we can't hold somebody outside of Christianity by that standard. But like you mentioned, because your religion is tied to the governmental standard, it means that I would have to obey several characteristics of your faith and
No,
religion.
no, and that's a misconception,
What I
right?
mean by that is, like, for example, I'm not criticizing Muhammad. That's a law. Not proselytizing to Muslims.
That's
Not
about it,
necessarily
though. That's about
spreading
it.
Christianity. Like, I couldn't necessarily build a bunch of new churches. Um,
Yes, you can.
all these things.
That's the
So
point. I'm trying to add context to it. I'm trying to add context to it. The only thing you're not allowed to do is come out in same way you can't do in any other country in every society you've ever been. You can't come out and denounce the government and say go against them. However, the reason why, going back to the original point we were making, my assertion was I believe Christians will have more happiness and more fulfillment within their religion living in an Islamic country than living in a secular country. And why? The example you just named of the churches in an Islamic society, in a perfect world, right, if we had that pure power, a Christian will be allowed to live in their area or within the society without following any rules of any type of Sharia law. You'll have your own laws that are dictated to you, your own taxation, which is dictated to yourselves, your own prison systems, which is dictated to yourselves. No government, no Islamic government will come and tell you actually you need to punish someone for 5 years rather than 3 years. That's totally autonomy to yourself. You can build whatever churches you want. You can live any type of marriage rules you want, any divorce rules you want. You have autonomy in every part of your life, but you can't denounce the government. That's it. However, in the West, you don't.
well, we
You
can't.
might be able to build churches, but you don't have any autonomy over your
But
life in a religious aspect.
remember, that was also with the other things that you agreed to. I can't point out
You
that
can
Christianity
denounce
is
the
the
government in
superior
America.
religion. One quick second, Jude. Is that I can't point out that Christianity is a superior religion. I can't criticize the religion of Islam. I can't criticize the Prophet Muhammad. Um, so while there would be some things that would be self-sustained that we were allowed to do, there would be a lot more restrictions than, for example, there are here. Alrighty guys, so in this video, as you can see, I made a very clear case that Christianity is not compatible with Islam, and that we would not be able to live in an Islamic state under the restrictions of the guidelines. That also being said, our atheist friends have a lot more restrictions and guidelines placed on them. So much so that I don't even know if in some interpretations they would get dhimmi status and be able to self-regulate some things. From my understanding, that could lead more to the death penalty or expulsion from the country. Not to mention, but leaving Islam is something that's not permitted either. But I'm going to try to do more videos on that later. Click the like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Also, if you enjoyed it, please consider sharing, liking, subscribing. I appreciate it. Take care, guys.
I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint.